Welcome to the West Coast WVU podcast, part of the 224 podcast network. My name is James Brooks. It's good to have you in here, uh, listening and joining me talking about West Virginia sports. Unfortunately, we came to an end in the West Virginia baseball season. They got swept by LSU in the Baton Rouge Super Regionals, and it wasn't really even a close series, unfortunately. I know in my last episode, I predicted that maybe West Virginia could push it to a three-game series and potentially even win it in a three-game series, playing three games. But unfortunately, they were not able to do that. In both games, they struck first. They went up 1-0, but in both games, they also gave up a ton of runs. In the first game, West Virginia ends up losing 16-9, and just a tough game in general where you put up 9 runs. I think if you told me that West Virginia was going to put up 9 runs against LSU, I would probably bet that they were going to win the game. But unfortunately, the pitching just did not show up very well at all over the entire weekend. But, to give up 16 runs, and it really was a tough stretch of just even a few innings. You had uh, in the box score, right? Like, where are we at? West Virginia goes up 1-0 in the second inning and then gives up a 3-run homer in the fourth inning. So they're down 3-1. And then in the fifth inning, just a tough inning where you had two outs. You get a ground ball to the shortstop. You can get out of the inning, but he bobbles the ground ball. That runner is safe at first, and then things just started unraveling. I think there was walked batters, hit batters, the bases got loaded, and then a grand slam was hit, and they went up 7-1 at that point, and even then tacked on three more runs that inning to score 7 runs in the fifth inning to go up 10-1. And at that point, it's like, yeah, game's pretty much over, or so you think. But then from there, um, West Virginia put up 4 runs in the sixth inning, so it's 10-5. Kind of get back into it. 5 runs, as you can see with LSU putting up 7 runs, and then they put up 6 runs in the fifth. And then talking about West Virginia in the regionals, putting up, I think what was it, 6 runs or 5 run or 6 run innings against Kentucky to win that regional. So you can put up 5 to 6 runs in an inning in college baseball somewhat easily. Maybe not against a team like LSU as much, but I mean they put up 4 runs in the sixth inning, so you go up or you're down 10-5. Um, and then in the bottom of the sixth, they have 6 more runs to get that 16, and then West Virginia was able to get 2 runs in the seventh and 2 runs in the ninth to get to 9. But obviously, when you give up 16 runs, it's hard to match that, let alone beat that. So just an overall tough pitching performance in that game and just in general over the weekends. You had Griffin Kern went 4 innings, he had 4 earned runs, and then they put in JJ Glasscock, who 2 earned runs in no, like he didn't get any outs. Then they put in Cole. I'm probably gonna butcher his name, Furman, who gave up 3 runs on no outs. Um, Tyler Hudson, 3 earned runs on 1 1/3 innings pitched. Luke Lyman, 4 earned runs on 1 2/3 inning pitched. So, you know, you just need pitch. You need you need good pitching. You can put up 9 runs, but obviously you need good pitching and good defense too. It's not just the pitching necessarily. Like I mentioned, there's a chance you get out of that inning instead of them scoring 7 runs. It's possible you get out of that inning, and um, who knows what happens in the game from there. At that point, it's a 3-1 game still, and maybe you put some runs up and stuff. Maybe you don't. Maybe they still put up 16 runs, but so just an overall tough first game against LSU, and there was some criticism on Saban's from the pitching standpoint on whether or not he made the right decisions on bringing in Glasscock and some of the pitchers he brought in relief. And I don't know, I can't really speak enough to this team specifically and the pitching capabilities of these guys, right? But I think there was definitely some questionable decision making from Sabins in general, right? Like they're in. So moving over to the game yesterday, game two, where um West Virginia ends up losing 12-5. They went down 6-0. I think they made it a game. It was 6-4 before things blew up towards the end of the game. And in that game, there's some controversy there where Grant Hussey, he's the all-time leading home run hitter in West Virginia baseball history, with like 45 home runs. He was really, really instrumental last season, really instrumental during the regular season this season, and he was benched for a lot of the regionals. He got two at bats in the first game, but got no at bats in the second game, and it just to me, I mean, say so. Sabins came in response during like the regionals and said, nothing about Grant specifically. It's all just about um, matchups, platoon type situations and putting the best who he thinks the best possible guy is given a matchup, right? Lefty versus righty pitchers. Typically, if you have like a left-handed pitcher, you want a right-handed batter, and vice versa. And that's what he said. He chalked it up to that. But and I don't know, like what I'm thinking is if he's a power hitter like he is, he's the all-time leading home run hitter for West Virginia baseball. He was replaced by what's his name, Lumsden, um, who was a sub 100, had a sub 100 or a 100 batting average, which that was kind of questionable in my mind. And on Twitter last night after the game, I'm trying to pull it up. There was a tweet by a burner ball spotter, and he says Grant Hussey not getting what would have more than likely been his final at bat as a Mountaineer is an insult to a program record holder. And Grant responded to the tweet, said, "Slap in the face. I don't even have words for it." And you just kind of hate to see that kind of stuff, like especially after such a great season for West Virginia. An all-time, winning as many games as they did, winning the Big 12 regular season championship, winning the Clemson regional, getting a big win against Clemson, big wins against Kentucky, and then going in and facing a powerhouse like LSU. Overall, I'd chalk it up to a good season. And to have a guy like Grant, who's like the all-time home run leader and stuff, knock it and at bat, and based on that response, it's not doesn't seem like it's an injury issue, which some people were wondering, like, does he have an injury or is there some situation like that is why he's not playing? But really, it sounds like Saban's just chalked it up to a matchup thing, and he didn't think that Grant had what it took to put West Virginia in the best spot against LSU, which I just I don't know. I don't want to be one of those couch coaches type thing where I'm like think I know better than the head coach when I've never, I played high school baseball, but I never played college baseball, never coached college baseball, never coached high school baseball even. I have familiarity with baseball from playing in high school and watching as a fan and stuff. So I don't want to be that guy necessarily who's criticizing the coach, but it just seems fishy. Like I just don't understand. And maybe it's like one of those situations. Like I was reading a book on Walter Payton who was talking about how in the book they mentioned in Walter Payton's one Super Bowl, he didn't get a touchdown and they blew out, I forget what team they played, but they scored like 45 points. And there was a one key moment where they were near the goal line and Ditka gave the ball to the fridge and he scored a touchdown. And after the game, um, Walter Payton was like found feeling like dejected, maybe even crying in a closet while his team's celebrating winning the Super Bowl because he didn't get that chance to score a touchdown. And in one sense, you think like, you got to be a team player. Like, don't feel sorry for yourself in that sense. And the point I bring up is Ditka in response to that. Like, one, he felt bad, and two, he said like he just didn't in the moment of coaching and the heat of the moment, like he just didn't even think of it. And in this case, right, like I'm not talking even about like West Virginia didn't win. We're talking about putting one of the best players on the team in the lineup or subbing him in for a chance to like help make a comeback happen or something. And also he's mentioned over and over as one of the better defensive players on the team. He played first base. And why wouldn't you want to have that like get the good defense from him and give him a chance to get his bat working. And you just don't. I don't know. And again, I don't know. I feel like there has to be more to it than because on what we're seeing on paper just isn't really lining up. So I'm curious to see if more comes out about that. And again, it sucks to have this controversy after West Virginia had such a good season in baseball and whatnot. And maybe controversy isn't the right word. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, obviously Grant Hussey feels not great about it. So definitely begs a question on what's going on there. And it sucks too, like having such a great season and the way it did, where um but there are people that know more than me about West Virginia baseball and this season that were questioning some of Saban's decisions from a pitching rotation standpoint the um in the regional tournament and then obviously in the super regional tournament against LSU. And so it just sucks to have such a good season ending the way that it did, where the team played really well. He overall seemed to coach really well in his first season as the head coach, and I don't know if he just got out, was like overthinking things or what, but um, just an unfortunate end of the season. And in some ways, you play a team like LSU and you don't have super high expectations. Like if West Virginia were to have pulled off a win against West Virginia or against LSU in the Super Regionals, that would have been a huge deal. And it's a tough matchup where you could have potentially gotten matched up against like Little Rock or something, right? But it is what it is. That's how tournaments work. And I think for and the big I think the big criticism with Saban's, I'll end it here in this little recap, is um, what people were calling him like punting game one with the rotation that he used to then put yourself in a must-win situation and your back's against the wall in game two is really hard for a team when you're going up against a team like LSU, where you're just, if you're gonna win a game, you want to win that game one. And some of that's out of his control. I mean, they put their best pitcher on the mound as far as I understand. And he I think he had, what was it, 4 earned runs is what I said, 3 or 4 earned runs. And um, it was 3-1 or 4-1 when they pulled him, and then they hit the grand slam and they put up, you know, 7 runs, and just overall tough, just a tough game. So like in some sense, like that is out of Saban's control. I don't know that it makes sense to put in your best relief pitchers when you're down 4-1 or 7-1 or whatever the score was. I think maybe the score was a little closer, but overall, just yeah, a bummer to get knocked out and not be able to win a game in the Super Regionals, but just to make it is a big deal. Sorry, my dog is really needy right now. He keeps pushing my arm. For those of you that are watching on video, and but yeah, overall, I'd say it was a successful season, right? You get a ton of wins. You win the regular season, Big 12 regular season championship. You win the Clemson regional, beating a ranked Clemson team along the way. Oh, this is my dog is on. Um, sorry, he's being very distracting. He's very needy right now. Um, but you win, yeah, you win the regional. You go and you play a team like LSU, and you put I think that they played to put up 9 runs to make game two a close game, to make that game 6-4 when you were down 6-0 is still in the same vein of how this team had been playing, and just being a tough a tough team to put away, a fight team, and all that stuff. So overall, I think it's a good season from West Virginia baseball. I think hopefully we can see the team build on what they've already done. Obviously, Saban's being his first season, like hopefully he's learned a lot and he can come back next season and in future seasons and put out a good product on the field for West Virginia baseball. So I'll say, as a West Virginia sports fan who only really followed the baseball season from like an arm's distance, and really kind of got into it during the playoffs, as I think a lot of people did. I am definitely bought in and want to be paying more attention to the team in future seasons. So I think in that sense, even the season is a success, where you're gaining more and more fans, more people that are interested in the program and all that stuff too. So definitely exciting there, and excited see what the future holds for West Virginia baseball. Um, excuse me. I think from there, I mean, now we're kind of in the well the doldrums of college sports where we're kind of just waiting for football season. And I think I'm going to try and figure out some different content that we can talk about in the what is it basically 3 months until football season starts. But I'm thinking things like maybe like rewatchable type things, like rewatching old like vintage games and talking about them. My like since especially since I'm not like a OG West Virginia fan, I didn't grow up a West Virginia fan. Maybe my reaction to those games that maybe I haven't watched or haven't watched all of. Maybe I've heard of them but haven't really watched the games. Things like that might be something that we chat about. I'm also thinking about maybe bringing people on and talking with people. I would love to bring in maybe some other West Virginia podcasters or even just West Virginia fans that I interact with on Twitter that jump on and tell us about yourself. I'd love to meet more people and learn more about the West Virginia fandom through West Virginia fans. I think that would be cool to to let you guys kind of share your stories and some of your favorite memories and all that kind of stuff. Because for me, like I think I bring a unique perspective being someone that's not from West Virginia, someone that's a fan, but also like a newer fan. I think some people might write that off as like they're just not interested and I totally get that. And I'm not that maybe this content isn't for everybody, but I do think that a unique perspective, kind of like that outsider's perspective where I can still kind of play devil's advocate on some things. But I still really love the school and the programs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still gonna like fight for like our behalf of West Virginia sports and all that kind of stuff too. But I think my West Coast perspective, so to speak, um, does bring something to the table. But that being said, I still think it would be interesting to hear more from specific West Virginia fans, people from the state, people that went to West Virginia. I mean, whether you went to the school or not, just kind of why you're a fan, that kind of. So if you're watching this or listening to this and you're interested, um, reach out to me. Send me a DM, message me on X or on Instagram. I did start an Instagram account. It's also the same handle as the X account, so it's West Coast WVU. So you can follow me there as well. I'm trying to think if there's something specific about football that I wanted to talk about. Um, I feel like there was, and I'm just blanking, and I don't want to forget. I know I want to talk about that kind of stuff. Where looking at the wrong account. Um, yeah, it's always tough when the sports end and we're stuck with. Oh, well, I posted about the West Virginia uniforms again, the throwbacks, the 1965 throwbacks, and got a nice little response, a lot of retweets and likes and stuff on that, which I'm very excited to. I'm really excited to see those and yeah, just see more about like what's coming up with the football team and there's so many people that like try and rag on those throwbacks that they announced a couple months ago, like saying like, oh, it's too close to Notre Dame or it's too close to the 2000s like uniforms. But it's like, I mean, it's just colors. It's navy and gold, and like West Virginia wore those colors in the 60s. Like that's cool. Um, let's see what else. What's else been happening on X on Twitter? I kind of been going back and forth on someone that's trying to um everyone always like wants to say that Country Roads, the song, isn't about West Virginia, right? Like that's something that I'm not even from Virginia, and that stuff bothers me. It's like whether or not the song mentions things that are about West Virginia, it's or like about like places like Blue Ridge Mountains, whatever, like that kind of like. But it's like whether or not it's in West Virginia, it's like the song is about going home to West Virginia. And there was someone that was like tweeting me saying like it's not the original song. The original they've never been to West Virginia. They've never like is that it was still originally written about Western Virginia and all this stuff. And it's like you know like the lyrics of the song say West Virginia. But I mean, I don't need to tell you. I'm sure you guys all agree with me there. Yeah, I guess I mean there was that was it. I'm sure like after I'm done recording, I'm gonna be like, oh shoot, I forgot about this thing with football that happened. Let me see if I retweet anything. I should have just made like bullet points of like um Jaheim White. He is on the cover of a couple magazines, Athlon Sports and Lindsay's Sports College Football Preview. So that's pretty cool. Jaheim is always such a stand-up kind of guy. He quote tweeted it saying like, "Appreciate the love, but I can't do anything without my line and my team. This recognition I get is because they do their jobs, team effort. Just like I love to see that kind of stuff. Like Jaheim, like I'm so happy that Jaheim stayed at West Virginia even through the coaching change and everything. Like I think he has like, I mean, whether or not he has NFL potential, I can't really speak to that. But like from a college football standpoint, a college running back, like he is everything you want in a college running back. He runs hard, fast. But he's also like a team guy, team player, a real leader. He's the kind of guy that is gonna like step up and be a leader for this team, which is awesome. Um, some other news that came out was Ren Baker, like the athletic director department, um, posted a thing that says, with the approval of the House settlement, a new era of college athletics is here. Schools can now share revenue directly with student athletes with oversight from the newly established College Sports Commission. West Virginia University Athletics has been working and planning for this day for a long time to best position our department for future long-term success. While we will have further updates soon, I want to let Mountaineer Nation know that our tradition and place on the national stage is at the forefront of our decision-making process. We will fully participate in revenue sharing as the House settlement offers stability, fairness, and opportunity under the guidance of the CSC or the CS Commission. Um, it's a new day in college athletics, and WVU will be strategically positioned to continue competing at the highest levels. Which is, I mean, that's great to hear. I mean, I think most schools are probably in that boat, like any major D1 schools, probably in that boat, and we're planning on that kind of stuff. But it's always good to see. I mean, Ren Baker he's a top tier athletic director from what we've seen so far, and um, I definitely, we trust that he's putting West Virginia in the right position, in the best position to, handle this revenue sharing stuff, any NIL type stuff, anything that'll position us to be able to compete and bring in the best players that we can and stuff. So happy to see that. Happy to see. Always happy to see him doing good things. And yeah, I mean, we're at the point where we're sportsless from a college standpoint until August. So I mean, not to say that there won't be things to talk about and stuff, but looking forward to um, just the future of this podcast, the future of next season. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be going to Backyard Brawl this season, so super excited to be in West Virginia and in Morgantown for that weekend. And yeah, I think I'll probably start posting like some rewatchable type stuff. And again, like I said, if you're interested in joining me on the podcast, like I don't care if you ever podcasted before, if you have a following or not. Like I just want to promote good people, good West Virginia fans. Share your story. Come on here, share your stories. Tell me more about yourself, where you come from, why you're a fan, what made you a fan, favorite sports, favorite players, favorite games, anything like that. I think that'd be super fun. So thank you all for listening and go Mountaineers.